Your kind doesn't belong here, she spat, flicking her lighter beneath his ticket. The flame ate through the $400 first-class ticket in seconds. Patricia Brennan, senior flight attendant with 23 years at Skyline Airways. Then she grabbed Marcus Williams' wrist, forced his palm open, and dumped the burning remains into his hand. He jerked back. Hot ashes scattered across his face and merino sweater. "Clean up your fake trash," she commanded. Marcus Williams, 42, CEO, worth $400 million, dropped to his knees at gate B-27. His fingers trembled as he collected ash fragments while Patricia planted her heel on a burning piece inches from his hand. 47 phones captured everything. The live stream view counter hit 50,000 in 30 seconds. Have you ever been forced to kneel in your own ashes while the world watched, swallowing rage that could destroy everything you've built? 7:35 a.m. First contact. Marcus had arrived at gate B-27 12 minutes earlier, pulling his single carry-on with the subtle Aerotech Industries logo embossed on leather. The first-class line was empty. He approached Patricia Brennan's podium with his phone displaying the mobile boarding pass. "Good morning," he said. "First class to San Francisco." Patricia didn't look up from her computer. "Economy boards at 8:10, Group 5. I have a first-class ticket." Marcus held his phone steady. Now she looked. Her eyes traveled from his face to his clothes, the $200 merino sweater, dark jeans, minimalist watch. Not the usual Hermes and Rolex parade she expected in first class. Her jaw tightened. "Let me see that." She snatched his phone, squinting at the screen. "These are easily faked. Wait here." She waved through 3 white passengers behind him. Investment banker types with obvious Rolexes and Louis Vuitton bags. No verification needed. They smirked as they passed Marcus. 7:38 a.m. The accusation. Patricia called over her colleague Janet. "Look at this. Notice anything unusual?" Janet glanced at Marcus, then the phone. "The ticket?" "Exactly. I've seen this scam before." Patricia's voice carried deliberately. "They buy economy, then Photoshop first-class tickets. This one's good quality, but see the pixel inconsistency here?" There was no pixel inconsistency. Marcus's ticket had been purchased 6 weeks ago for $8,400 through Skyline's executive portal. The confirmation sat in his email, in the airline system, in his credit card statement. "Ma'am, you can verify it in your system," Marcus said. "The booking reference is, 'Don't tell me how to do my job.'" Patricia's hand moved to her pocket, where her cigarette lighter made a small bulge. 23 years I've been catching fraudsters. You people always have excuses." You people. The words hung in recycled airport air. 7:40 a.m. The escalation. A small crowd gathered. Some pretended to check phones while obviously recording. A teenager went live on TikTok. "Yo, this lady's going off on this black dude for literally no reason." Patricia printed Marcus's legitimate ticket from her system. She held the paper up to the light, shaking her head theatrically. "See how the barcode looks tampered with?" The barcode was perfect. The ticket was real. Everyone watching could see it. "That's a valid ticket," said a woman in yoga pants. "I can see it from here." Patricia spun around. "Ma'am, I'm trained in fraud detection. Please don't interfere." She pulled out her lighter, a silver Zippo she used during smoke breaks. Flicking it open and closed had become her power move, her way of showing control. Click. Spark. Click. "You know what we do with fraudulent documents?" Patricia asked Marcus. 7:41 a.m. The burning. Before. Marcus could respond. Patricia held the corner of his printed ticket to the flame. The paper caught instantly. Fire crawled up the edge, consuming flight number, seat assignment, his name. "No!" Marcus reached for it. Patricia pulled back, holding the burning ticket high. "Everyone watch! This is what happens to scammers who try to steal from our first-class passengers. She grabbed Marcus's wrist with her free hand, her nails digging in. With practiced cruelty, she forced his palm open and dumped the burning paper into it. Marcus jerked away, hot ashes scattered across his face, stinging his eyes. Fragments of the burning ticket stuck to his sweater, leaving small black holes in the expensive wool. Patricia kicked the metal trash bin into his knees. He stumbled, nearly falling. "Clean up your mess," she commanded, the witnesses. The TikTok stream exploded. Comments flooded in. "Oh my God, she just burned his ticket. This is insane. Someone call security on her. He's so calm, how is he not losing it? View count, 8,000, 15,000, 32,000. Climbing." Marcus dropped to one knee, his hand reaching for the scattered ashes. Patricia planted her heel inches from his fingers, grinding a still glowing piece into the carpet. His phone buzzed repeatedly in his pocket. His assistant, the Japanese investors, his board members. The meeting worth $47 million started in 4 hours in San Francisco. "Sir, you need to leave," Patricia announced. "Security is on the way." The departure board flashed. Flight 447, San Francisco. Boarding, 7:55, final call. Marcus stayed on his knee, carefully collecting every piece of ash, every fragment of his dignity. His hands were steady, but something in his eyes had changed. He pulled out his phone with his free hand and typed a single message no one could see. In his pocket, barely visible, the edge of a platinum executive card caught the light. Patricia was too busy basking in her authority to notice. 7:47 a.m. The manager arrives. Tom Carter pushed through the crowd, his supervisor badge swinging. The smoke alarm had triggered a silent alert at his station. He saw Patricia standing over a kneeling black man, ashes scattered everywhere, phones recording from every angle. "What's happening here?" Tom demanded. Patricia straightened her uniform, switching to her professional victim voice. "Tom, thank God. This man tried to board with fraudulent documents. When I exposed him, he became aggressive. I had to destroy the fake ticket for security reasons." She leaned closer, whispering loud enough for others to hear. "He grabbed my wrist. I felt threatened. Look, there's still a mark." She showed her perfectly unmarked wrist. Marcus stood slowly, ash stains across his sweater, burn marks visible on his palm. "She burned my legitimate ticket and assaulted me." Tom looked at the seen black man, ashes, angry crowd. His bias clicked in. "Sir, I need you to step back." "Patricia, did he touch you?" "He lunged at me," Patricia lied smoothly. "Ask anyone." The yoga pants woman stepped forward. "That's not what happened. She grabbed him and, ma'am, please don't interfere with an investigation." Tom was already on his radio. "Security to gate B27. Possible assault on crew members. Bring backup." Patricia smirked, adding loudly, "He threatened to own this place. Delusions of grandeur, typical." 7:49 a.m. Security descends. 2 TSA officers arrived within 90 seconds. The lead officer, Williams, hand on his taser, approached Marcus. Behind him, Officer Rodriguez already had zip-tie restraints out. "Sir, step away from the gate area." "Officer, I'm the victim here," Marcus said calmly. "She destroyed my property. There's video evidence." Patricia jumped in. "He's been aggressive and threatening. Said he'd burn this place down when I caught his fraud. Check him for weapons." "I never said that," Marcus responded. "Turn around, hands on the wall," Officer Williams ordered, ignoring him. The live stream chat exploded. "Are you kidding me? He's the victim. This is exactly why we record everything. Skyline Airways is done after this. Someone call the real cops, not these TSA clowns." View count, 127,000 and climbing exponentially. 3 major news outlets had picked up the stream. Marcus placed his hands on the wall. Officer Williams patted him down roughly while Patricia provided commentary. Check his bag. These scammers often work in groups. Probably has drugs. I need you to shut up and let us work, Officer Rodriguez muttered, but Patricia didn't hear. They dumped his carry-on contents onto a table. Out spilled a change of clothes, laptop, leather portfolio. The portfolio fell open, revealing documents with Aerotech Industries letterhead, but security didn't look closely. A Mont Blanc pen rolled toward the edge. He's probably got fake business cards, too, Patricia said, picking up his vintage Omega watch from the table. This is obviously counterfeit. Real ones cost $30,000. My ex-husband had one. She held it up to the crowd. See? The weight's all wrong. She dropped it deliberately. The crystal cracked against the terrazzo floor. A man in the crowd filmed the watch dropping. That's destruction of property. Sir, please back up, Tom warned the man. 7:50 a.m. The humiliation deepens. Patricia wasn't done. She picked up Marcus's sweater from his bag, holding it between two fingers like contaminated evidence. Probably shoplifted. This is merino wool, $300 retail. She sniffed it dramatically. Smells like weed. That's enough, Marcus said quietly. Did you just threaten me? Patricia's voice rose. Tom, did you hear that threat? Tom nodded eagerly. Sounded threatening to me. Officer, I want that documented. Officer Williams pulled out his notepad. Sir, making threats against airline crew is a federal offense. The crowd was dividing. Some were appalled, others enjoying the show. A middle-aged white man in a MAGA hat called out, Finally, someone is doing their job. Build the wall. Another passenger, an elderly black woman, shook her head. This is disgraceful. That young man hasn't done anything wrong. Ma'am, were you here from the beginning? Tom asked. Because if not, you don't know what happened. Patricia grabbed the microphone again. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the disturbance. This individual attempted to use a fraudulent first-class ticket. When caught, he became violent. Skyline Airways has zero tolerance for theft and aggression. 7:51 a.m. The public spectacle. Tom pulled out his phone, taking multiple photos of Marcus against the wall. For the no-fly list review, and probably the FBI database. Attempting to use fraudulent documents is federal. Make sure you get his face clearly, Patricia added. These people often have multiple identities. She walked over to where Marcus still had his hands on the wall. Leaning close, she whispered in his ear, Should have stayed where you belong. Economy. Or better yet, the bus. Your mama should have taught you better. Marcus's jaw clenched, the first sign of emotion. Patricia noticed and smiled. Oh, did I hit a nerve? Mama didn't raise you right? Or was there no daddy around to teach you? A businessman in the crowd laughed. Good job, Patricia. Can't let them get away with it. Another voice. They always try something. Every time. A young woman with purple hair countered. You're all racist trash. This is wrong. Another liberal snowflake, Patricia shot back. Probably wants everything free too. 7:52 a.m. The peak confrontation. Empty your pockets, Officer Williams ordered. Marcus pulled out his wallet, phone, and second phone, a detail that made Patricia's eyes light up. Drug dealer phone, she announced triumphantly. Classic. 2 phones means drug dealer. Everyone knows that. The second phone's screen lit up with a notification. Tokyo investors confirmed for 11:30 a.m. 47 $47 wire ready. Patricia didn't see it, too busy performing for her audience. She pulled out her lighter again, flicking it open. The flame danced. Got any other fake documents? Fake passport, maybe? She waved the flame near his laptop bag. Should I check for more fraud? Maybe burn your fake laptop too? Patricia, that's enough with the lighter, Officer Rodriguez said, uncomfortable. I'm making a point, she snapped back. She turned to the crowd. This is what happens to fraudsters. We burn their lies. Tom grabbed Marcus's wallet, pulling out cards. Credit cards are all probably stolen. Let me run these. He read the names aloud. American Express Black Card? Please. Marcus Williams, CEO? This is pathetic. That's when he saw it. The Platinum Executive Medallion, the highest Skyline Airways status. Only 200 existed worldwide. Tom's hand froze. What? Patricia asked. Tom showed her the card. She laughed loudly, performatively. That's the most obvious fake yet. Executive medallions are for CEOs and celebrities, not... She gestured at Marcus's ash-covered appearance. Not people who shop at Target. Run the number, Marcus said quietly. Check your system. Oh, now he wants us to check? Patricia mocked. Now he's confident? Where was this energy when you were on your knees picking up ashes? 7:53 a.m. The system check. The departure board flashed. Final boarding. 7:55, door closes in 2 minutes. Patricia typed the medallion number into her computer, still smirking. This will be good. Probably comes back as some ghetto address in Chicago's South Side. Her screen flashed. Marcus Williams, Platinum Executive, lifetime status. Authorized by Board of Directors. She blinked, typed it again. Same result. Tom looked over her shoulder. Below the status, more text appeared. VIP customer, total lifetime spend. $4.7 million, special notes. Majority shareholder representative emergency contact. Harrison Blake, CEO. That's impossible, Patricia stammered. The system's been hacked. He hacked our system. You think I hacked Skyline's system in the 10 minutes I've been here? Marcus asked. While you were burning my ticket? The crowd was growing restless. The live stream had passed 300,000 viewers. Someone had tagged CNN, Fox, and MSNBC. The caption read, Skyline Airways burns black CEO's ticket, watch what happens next. Comments were pouring in faster than anyone could read. Skyline stock dropping. This Patricia woman is done. He's been so calm this whole time. Something big is about to happen. Marcus turned from the wall without permission. Officer, am I under arrest? Sir, stay against the... Am I under arrest? Marcus repeated, each word precise. We need to verify... Officer Williams looked confused. Patricia, panicking, grabbed for Marcus's phone. You're not calling anyone? Marcus stepped back, his finger hovering over a contact labeled simply Harrison. Tom's phone rang. The caller ID showed Harrison Blake, CEO Skyline Airways. 7:54 a.m. The phone call. Tom's hand shook as he answered. Mr. Blake, is Marcus Williams at your gate? The CEO's voice carried through the speaker, ice-cold and furious. Everyone heard it. Patricia's lighter slipped from her hand, clattering across the floor. The crowd fell silent. Even the live-stream chat paused, waiting. Sir, there's been an incident, Tom started. I'm watching it live. Half of America is watching it live. Do you have any idea who Marcus Williams is? Marcus hadn't even made his call yet. Blake had been watching the live stream along with what was now 500,000 viewers. Patricia grabbed Tom's phone. Mr. Blake, this is Patricia Brennan. This man tried to board with fraudulent... Patricia Brennan, employee ID 7739. Blake's voice cut through her words. You just burned the ticket of Aerotech Industries' CEO. Aerotech owns 31% of Skyline Airways. You burned your boss's ticket on live stream. The phone slipped from Patricia's hand. The first revelation. Marcus picked up his second phone, the one Patricia had called a drug dealer phone. He turned the screen toward her, toward the cameras, toward everyone watching. The screen showed Skyline Airways' internal executive portal, something only board members could access. His name appeared at the top. Marcus Williams, Aerotech Industries, 31% stake, largest shareholder. No, Patricia whispered. That's not... You can't be... Marcus scrolled down. The screen showed every executive decision, every board vote, every quarterly report. His digital signature was on Patricia's last 3 employment reviews. "I approved your last raise," Marcus said quietly. 2%. March 2024. "You wrote in your self-evaluation that you had exceptional judgment in identifying security threats." Officer Williams stepped back, hands raised. "Sir, we had no idea." "You had no idea," Marcus repeated, "because she told you I was a threat and you believed her, without question." 7:55 a.m. The numbers game. Marcus connected his phone to the gate's display screen. Every passenger in the area could see it. The live stream viewers got a perfect view. "Let me show you what Patricia just cost Skyline Airways," he said, his voice carrying the quiet authority of someone who didn't need to shout. The screen lit up with real-time data. Skyline Airways stock price down 8.3% in 12 minutes. Market cap loss, $687 million. Trending hashtags, #boycott, Skyline, #1 worldwide. News coverage, 47 outlets and climbing estimated lawsuits from this incident, $50 to $75 million. "But that's not the interesting part," Marcus continued. He pulled up another screen. "This is..." A pending transaction appeared. Aerotech Industries. Purchase order. Additional 21% stake, $1.8 billion. This purchase was scheduled for 8 o'clock a.m., 5 minutes from now. It would have given me 52% control. He paused. Would have. The deeper truth. Patricia was on her knees now, trying to piece together the burned ticket from the trash can. "I can fix this. I can tape it back together. Please, Mr. Williams. I didn't know." "You didn't know," Marcus said, "because you didn't want to know. You saw my skin color and made every assumption." He pulled up Patricia's employee file on the screen. 23 years of service, 17 complaints of bias, all dismissed, all involving black or brown passengers, all marked unsubstantiated. Tom tried to inch away from the scene. Marcus noticed. "Tom Carter, Supervisor ID 8821. You backed her up, every time." Another file appeared. 12 complaints against you. Same pattern." The live stream exploded. Major news networks were breaking into regular programming. The view count passed 1.5 million. 7:56 a.m. The security footage. "But here's what's really interesting," Marcus said. He pulled up security footage from his phone, not airport security, but from his own team. "Aerotech has been documenting discrimination at airlines we invest in. We use hidden auditors." A compilation played, Patricia burning Marcus's ticket, dropping his watch, the whispered insults, everything. But also footage from previous days, Patricia doing similar things to other black passengers. Tom backs her up each time. "My legal team has been building this case for 6 months, Marcus revealed. "You weren't my first encounter, Patricia. You were my last." Patricia stood up, ash smeared across her uniform. "You set me up? This was a trap?" "No, I was genuinely flying to San Francisco for a meeting. You decided to burn my ticket. That was all you." The ultimate reveal. Marcus opened another app on his phone. "This is interesting, too, as of..." He checked his watch, the cracked Omega still keeping perfect time. 90 seconds ago, I officially own 52% of Skyline Airways." Tom's phone rang again. Blake's voice. "The board just approved an emergency sale to prevent total stock collapse. Marcus Williams now owns Skyline Airways." Marcus looked at Patricia. "You're right about one thing. I do own this place. As of 90 seconds ago." He turned to Officer Williams. "Am I free to go?" The officer nodded quickly, stepping aside. "Sir, I'm so sorry." "You're sorry because you found out who I am. Not because what you did was wrong." Marcus straightened his ash-covered sweater. "That's the problem. 7:57 a.m. The collapse. Patricia grabbed Marcus's leg as he walked past. Please, I have a daughter in college. I have a mortgage. 23 years. You had 23 years to do better, Marcus said. Instead, you burned my ticket. She was sobbing now, mascara running in black streams. I'll do anything. I'll apologize publicly. I'll take training. Patricia. Marcus knelt down to her level, his voice gentle but firm. You burned a piece of paper. But that paper represented my dignity, my rights, my humanity, and you did it with joy. He stood, addressing the crowd and cameras. I'm not just another angry black man seeking revenge. I'm a businessman who happens to be black, who just acquired an airline that needs fundamental change. The departure screen flashed. Flight 447, gate closed. Marcus had missed his flight. The meeting with Japanese investors worth $47 million hung in the balance. But something bigger was happening. He pulled out his primary phone and made a single call. Takashi? Yes, I'll be late. Why? I just bought an airline. No, that wasn't the plan. Yes, really. A pause. Then, they want to increase investment to $60 million because they're watching the live stream? They're impressed by my crisis management? He looked directly at Patricia. Interesting how destruction can lead to construction. Tom's radio crackled. Security. CEO Blake wants Patricia Brennan and Tom Carter detained for terminal violations. What violations? Tom asked desperately. Marcus pulled up the federal statute on his phone. 18 U.S.C. Sacra 1361, destruction of property, up to 10 years when involving transportation documents, plus civil rights violations, plus assault. Patricia's lighter lay on the floor, forgotten. Marcus picked it up, examined it. Such a small thing to end a career with. He pocketed it. Evidence, he said simply. The live stream viewer count hit 2.1 million. The comments were a waterfall of shock, satisfaction, and disbelief. Skyline Airways would never be the same. And Marcus Williams hadn't even raised his voice once. 7:58 a.m. The data assault. The data. Marcus walked to Patricia's podium and typed a single command. The gate's display screens, all 6 of them, lit up simultaneously. Every passenger, every employee, everyone watching the live stream could see what appeared. Let me show you the real cost of discrimination, he said. The first slide appeared, Skyline Airways, Discrimination Metrics, 2022-2025. Complaints filed, 847 complaints against Patricia Brennan, 17. Complaints against Tom Carter, 12. Settlements paid, $73.4 million. Stock value lost per incident, average 4.7%. Today's loss in 14 minutes, $921 million. But that's just money, Marcus continued. Here's what really matters. The next slide showed faces, dozens of them. Black, brown, Asian, Middle Eastern faces. Every person Patricia humiliated, every ticket Tom questioned, every dream was delayed while someone was forced to prove they belonged. He paused. I had my investigators contact them. They all watched today's live stream. They're all texting me right now. Patricia's phone buzzed, then Tom's, then every Skyline employee's phone in the terminal. A mass email from the CEO. Emergency all-staff meeting, topic, ownership change, effective immediately. The burning ticket math. Marcus pulled up a calculator on the big screen, typing deliberately so everyone could see. Let's calculate what Patricia's lighter just cost, he said. Ticket value, $8,400. Federal fine for destroying travel documents, $250,000. Assault and battery, $500,000. Civil rights violation, $1.2 million. Stock crash, current, $921 million. Pending lawsuits from viral video, $50 million estimated. Lost customer trust, priceless, but let's say $100 million. Total, $1,073,958,400. $1 billion, Marcus said slowly. From one lighter, from one moment of hate. Patricia collapsed into a chair. It wasn't about race. Marcus pulled up her social media on the screen. Post after post of subtle and not-so-subtle bias. A Facebook share about those people. An Instagram like on a Blue Lives Matter post under a Black Lives Matter protest video. A tweet about urban crime. It's always about race with you, Patricia. You just got comfortable enough to show it. 7:59 a.m. The legal precision. Harrison Blake's voice came through the airport PA system. He was broadcasting to every Skyline terminal nationwide. This is CEO Harrison Blake. As of 2 minutes ago, Marcus Williams of Aerotech Industries has acquired majority control of Skyline Airways. All terminal operations are suspended for 5 minutes for an emergency announcement. Marcus took the microphone from Patricia's podium. His voice carried through the entire airport. This is Marcus Williams. I'm standing here in an ash-covered sweater because employee 7739 burned my ticket. She's done similar things to hundreds of passengers. So has employee 8821. So have dozens of others. He pulled up the federal statutes on screen. 18 U.S.C. R. 1361. Destruction of government property. Federal airline tickets fall under transportation infrastructure. 10 years maximum 42 U.S.C. Secretary 1983. Civil action for deprivation of rights. Personal liability. No qualified immunity for commercial employees. 49 U.S.C. Savarus 46504. Interference with flight crew or attendants. Applies to crew interfering with passengers too. Patricia Brennan. Tom Carter. You're not just fired. You're facing federal prosecution. And Skyline Airways won't be paying your legal fees because you violated company policy so egregiously. Tom shouted, "You can't do this! We have union protection!" Marcus pulled up the union contract. Section 47.3. Union protection void in cases of criminal conduct or gross misconduct causing material damage to company reputation exceeding $10 million. He looked at the screen. Current damage, $921 million and climbing. 8:00 a.m. The acquisition completes. Marcus's phone chimed. The transaction was complete. He now owned 52% of Skyline Airways. "My first act as majority owner," he announced to the cameras, to the world watching, "is this." He pulled up an organizational chart. Red X's appeared over positions. Patricia Brennan, terminated, effective immediately. Tom Carter, terminated, effective immediately. Director of Terminal Operations, James Morrison, who ignored 8147 discrimination complaints, terminated. VP of Customer Service, Sandra White, who created the culture of passenger profiling, terminated. Chief Security Officer, Bob Patterson, who trained staff to target suspicious passengers based on appearance, terminated. 15 red X's in total. "Security, please escort these former employees from the premises," Marcus said into the radio. "The nuclear option." Blake's voice crackled through. "Mr. Williams, please, we can discuss this privately." "No," Marcus cut him off. "We're doing this publicly, like Patricia did to me." He pulled up Skyline's financial records. "Harrison Blake, CEO, your salary last year was $18.7 million. You paid out $73 million in discrimination settlements. You kept Patricia employed despite 17 complaints. You promoted Tom despite 12 complaints." He typed something. "Your resignation letter is in your inbox. You have 5 minutes to sign it, or I call an emergency shareholder meeting to discuss your handling of systemic discrimination." The live stream chat was going insane. 2.8 million viewers now. Hashtag Marcus Williams trending worldwide. Patricia tried to run. Security blocked her. She pulled out her lighter, flicking it desperately. "I'll burn this whole place down!" Officer Rodriguez tackled her. the lighter skittering across the floor. That's terroristic threatening. Add that to the charges. 8:02 a.m. The ultimatum delivered. Marcus addressed the cameras directly. Every Skyline employee nationwide is watching. Here are your choices. Option 1. Continue the culture of discrimination, and I liquidate this airline. 42,000 jobs are gone. Option 2. Accept the Williams Protocol. He pulled up a comprehensive document. The Williams Protocol. Effective immediately. Zero tolerance policy. Any discrimination, immediate termination, plus prosecution. Digital verification only. No more suspicious ticket claims, body cameras. All customer-facing employees. Footage reviewed by AI for bias. The Patricia Rule. Destroying customer property equals federal prosecution. Compensation Fund. $100 million for past discrimination victims. Diversity requirements. Leadership must reflect passenger demographics within 2 years. Monthly audits. Undercover auditors testing for bias. Transparency reports. All complaints published publicly, weekly. Customer Advocate Program. Independent advocates at every gate. Stock options. Employees who report discrimination get stock rewards. This isn't negotiable, Marcus said. Accept it or I shut down Skyline and start a new airline. His phone rang. The Japanese investors. Takashi, I'm putting you on speaker. 3 million people are listening. Takashi's voice came through clear. Mr. Williams, we're increasing our offer to $75 million. Your crisis management is extraordinary. When can you arrive? I'll take my own jet, Marcus replied. Skyline can't seem to handle a simple boarding process. 8:03 a.m. The public reckoning. Patricia was in handcuffs now, being led away. She turned back one last time. You ruined my life! Marcus stopped. The entire terminal held its breath. No, Patricia. You ruined your life the moment you decided my skin color determined my worth. I just documented it. He pulled up one final screen. A young black girl, maybe 17, in a video message. Mr. Williams, she said. Patricia Brennan humiliated my father 2 years ago. Said his business class ticket was fake. He was flying to his mother's funeral. He missed it because she had him detained for 5 hours. He never flew again. Drove everywhere after that. Thank you for today. Marcus looked at Patricia. Her father recorded it. So did 46 other people you humiliated. They're all filing civil suits, personal suits, against you, not Skyline. Tom Carter fell to his knees. Mr. Williams, I have 3 kids, and you taught them that treating people like me as criminals is acceptable. That's your legacy. Blake's voice came through the PA. I've signed my resignation. The board accepts the Williams Protocol. Marcus nodded. Good. Now everyone watches what accountability looks like. The screens showed Patricia and Tom being led away in handcuffs, past hundreds of recording phones, past their former colleagues who wouldn't make eye contact, past the very gates where they'd humiliated so many. The final irony. They were led past a mounted poster of Skyline's diversity commitment statement, one Patricia had walked by every day for 23 years without reading. Marcus straightened his burned sweater and walked toward the exit. Behind him, the ashes of his ticket still lay scattered on the carpet, $8,400 worth of paper that had just changed an entire industry. 8:05 a.m., the immediate aftermath. Patricia Brennan's career ended in the same terminal where it began 23 years ago. Security led her past Gate B27, where she'd trained as a rookie, past the break room where she'd celebrated promotions, past the wall of employee photos where her smiling face still hung, Employee of the Month, March 2019. Please, she begged Officer Rodriguez, let me call my daughter. You can call from booking, he replied. Her daughter was already watching. Emma Brennan, senior at Northwestern, sat in her dorm room with her laptop open. The live stream played on screen. Her roommates stood behind her in horrified silence. The title of the stream had been updated. Racist flight attendant arrested after burning black CEO's ticket. 3.1 M watching. Emma's phone exploded with texts. Is that your mom? Emma, I'm so sorry you're seeing this. Your mom is canceled forever. How could you not know she was racist? She closed her laptop and started packing. She'd have to transfer schools, change her name. Her mother had burned more than a ticket. She'd torched her daughter's future, too. The Tom Carter collapse. Tom Carter wasn't handling it better. As security marched him out, he passed his own office. His assistant, Maria, was already boxing up his belongings, her movements sharp with years of suppressed anger. Maria, please, we've worked together for 8 years. She didn't look up. You let Patricia harass my cousin last year. Remember? You said his first-class ticket looked suspicious. He's a cardiologist. He saves lives. You humiliated him for sport. Tom's phone buzzed with a notification from his mortgage company. News of his termination had already reached them. The subject line, your employment status change, urgent action required. His wife was calling. He declined. She called again. And again. Finally, a text. The news is on every channel. The kids are seeing their father arrested at school. Parents are pulling their children away from us. We're going to my mother's. Don't come home. The next text. My lawyer will contact you. 8:10 a.m. The Marcus departure. Marcus Williams walked through Terminal 2 like he owned it, because he did. Employees stepped aside, some nodding respectfully, others looking away in shame. He stopped at a coffee shop where a young black barista was watching the live stream on her phone. Mr. Williams? She said, eyes wide. Is that really you? He nodded, pulling out his wallet. Large coffee, please. It's on the house, her manager quickly said, sweat beading on his forehead. I mean, you literally own the house now. No, Marcus replied, placing a $100 bill on the counter. We're changing the culture, remember? Everything by the book. Keep the change for the staff tip pool. As he waited for his coffee, his phone rang constantly. CNN wanted an exclusive. Then Fox. Then MSNBC, the BBC, Al Jazeera. Everyone wanted to hear from the man who'd bought an airline because someone burned his ticket. He declined them all, posting instead on his LinkedIn. Actions speak louder than interviews. Watch what Skyline becomes in 6 months. The barista handed him his coffee with shaking hands. Mr. Williams, my grandmother was a flight attendant in the 60s. They made her straighten her hair, lighten her skin with makeup. She'd be so proud to see this day. Marcus paused. What's your name? Jasmine. Jasmine Porter. Are you in school, Jasmine? Part-time, aviation management. But tuition is... She trailed off. Marcus pulled out a business card. Email me your transcripts. Skyline's creating a new scholarship program. Full ride for aviation students from underrepresented backgrounds. You'll be our first recipient. 8:15 a.m. The industry panic. In airline boardrooms across the country, emergency meetings were convened. Delta's CEO was on a conference call. How many complaints do we have against our staff? Get me numbers now. American Airlines' legal team scrambled. Pull every discrimination complaint from the last 5 years. Flag anyone with multiple incidents. United's PR department went into overdrive. New policy effective immediately. Any employee who destroys passenger property is terminated and prosecuted. Southwest's training director proposed mandatory retraining, every employee, start tomorrow. JetBlue's social media team was in crisis mode. We need to distance ourselves from this. Post our diversity stats, now. Within an hour, every major airline would announce new anti-discrimination measures. The phrase, Williams Protocol, would become industry standard. Patricia's lighter had ignited a revolution she never intended. 8:20 a.m. Patricia's processing. At the police station, Patricia sat in booking. The officer taking her fingerprints was a young black woman named Officer Janet Hayes. Name? Patricia Brennan. Occupation? Patricia paused. Unemployed. Officer Hayes looked up. You're the one from the video. My grandmother called me crying. Said she'd been treated like that her whole life flying, but nobody ever faced consequences. You made her afraid to fly. Patricia stared at the ink on her fingers. 23 years of handling tickets, and now her fingerprints would be in the criminal database. Do you know what my bail will be? Patricia asked. Federal destruction of documents, assault, civil rights violations? Officer Hayes calculated. Judge Martinez is on duty. He's tough on hate crimes. His own daughter faced discrimination at an airline last year. You're looking at $150,000 minimum, maybe more. Patricia's stomach dropped. Her entire savings was $47,000. Her house was mortgaged. Her car was leased. Can I use my pension as collateral? What pension? You were terminated for cause. That voids your pension under federal law. 23 years of contributions. Gone. 8:30 a.m. The Williams Protocol implementation. Back at Skyline headquarters, the emergency transformation began. Marcus had appointed Denise Jackson, a black woman who'd worked her way up from baggage handler to regional manager over 18 years, as interim CEO. We have 6 hours to show the world we're serious, she announced to the crisis team. Every employee watches the tolerance training video by midnight or they're suspended without pay. The video opened with the footage of Patricia burning Marcus's ticket. Then Marcus's calm response. Then the consequences. The message was clear. This is what discrimination costs everything. New policies rolled out by the minute. Gate agents' computers updated. Physical ticket verification removed entirely. Body cameras shipped overnight to all 42,000 customer-facing employees. AI software scanning past complaints, flagging problem employees, termination letters generated for 47 employees with multiple violations, background checks expanded to include social media history, quarterly polygraph tests for management regarding discrimination. The union tried to protest. Denise shut them down. You protected Patricia for 17 complaints. You're complicit. Accept the changes or we dissolve the union under RICO statutes for organized discrimination. 8:45 a.m. The Victim Fund announcement. Marcus held a press conference from his jet en route to San Francisco. The Japanese investors had delayed their meeting to watch history unfold. Skyline Airways will pay $1,000 to every confirmed victim of discrimination over the past 5 years. No litigation required. Just show us the incident report. Within minutes, 847 applications flooded in. The cost? $847 million. Nearly the exact amount Skyline had lost in market value that morning. We're not just paying for past sins, Marcus explained. We're investing in future trust. Patricia's victims would each receive $1 million. Patricia herself would spend the next 5 to 10 years in federal prison, emerging broke, unemployable, and forever branded. 9:00 a.m. The courtroom. Patricia's arraignment was swift. Judge Martinez had watched the video 3 times. His daughter had been forced to fly economy despite having a first-class ticket 2 years ago, told there was a system error by a suspicious gate agent. Ms. Brennan, you're charged with destruction of federal documents, 10 years maximum assault and battery, 5 years maximum, violation of civil rights under color of authority, 10 years maximum, making terroristic threats, 20 years maximum, 47 counts of fraudulent discrimination, 10 years each. 47? Patricia's public defender, an overworked man named Carl Peterson, looked confused. The prosecutor, Aisha Thompson, a black woman who'd been bumped from first class 3 times in her life, stood. We've identified 47 incidents where Ms. Brennan falsely claimed tickets were fraudulent, all involving passengers of color. Each is a separate federal charge. Maximum sentence, 490 years. Patricia did the math. She was 51. She'd die in prison. Your Honor, her lawyer pleaded, my client is a first-time offender. Who committed federal crimes on live stream in front of 3 million witnesses? The judge interrupted. Bail is set at $500,000. Cash only. No bondsman. Trial date in 30 days. Patricia couldn't make bail. She'd remain in federal detention until trial. General population. No special protection. 10:00 a.m. Tom Carter's reckoning. Tom's charges were lighter but still severe. Accessory to destruction of documents, conspiracy to violate civil rights, failure to report federal crimes, negligent supervision. His bail, $200,000. His family didn't come to the courthouse. His wife had already contacted a divorce attorney. His kids had changed their social media names. His son posted, "That man doesn't represent who I am or what I believe. I'm taking my mother's maiden name." Tom had backed Patricia for 12 years. It took 12 hours for his life to unravel completely. His brother, a successful engineer, refused his call. His mother, watching from Taiwan, posted on WeChat, "This is not the son I raised. He has brought shame to our family name." 6 months later, the transformation skyline. Airways was unrecognizable. Marcus had kept his promise. The statistics told the story. Discrimination complaints, down 94%. Customer satisfaction, passengers of color, up 340%. Stock price, recovered, and up 27%. Employee diversity in management, increased 200%. Patricia rule violations, zero revenue, up $2.3 billion from minority community support. The burned ticket was displayed in Skyline's headquarters, framed in crystal with a plaque. From these ashes, we rose better. Patricia's prison reality. Patricia Brennan, federal inmate number 47298, worked in the prison laundry, washing orange jumpsuits for 14 cents an hour. Her cellmate was a black woman named Dolores, in for tax evasion. "You're the ticket burner," Dolores said on Patricia's first day. "Saw you on TV. My whole family saw you." Patricia had tried to explain, to justify, to minimize. Dolores just laughed. "You know what's funny? You spent 23 years thinking you were better than people like me. Now we share a toilet, and I'm here for white-collar crime. You're in for hate crimes. Guess who the other inmates respect more?" Patricia's daughter visited once, just once, through reinforced glass. "Mom, do you understand what you did?" "It was just a ticket." "No, Mom. It was never just a ticket. It was every snide comment about those people. Every time you clutched your purse tighter, every joke you thought I didn't understand as a kid. You taught me hate, and I have to unlearn it all." "Emma, please. I'm changing my name. To Dad's. You're dead to me." Emma never came back. Patricia would serve 7 years, emerging to nothing. The flight that changed everything. Marcus Williams finally made it to San Francisco, 12 hours late, on his own Gulfstream G650. The Japanese investors Takashi Yamamoto and his team met him at the private terminal. They'd watched everything unfold live. "Williams-san," Takashi bowed deeply. "We witnessed your strength. In Japan, we have a saying, 'The bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that breaks.' You bent, but did not break." The original deal was for $47 million. They signed for $75 million instead. "Your composure under attack, your strategic response, this is the leadership we invest in," Takashi explained. "Plus, we're booking our entire company's flights on Skyline Airways now. We trust your reforms." Marcus smiled, his first real smile in 14 hours. From ashes to assets. The Patricia effect. 1 year later. The term entered dictionaries within 6 months. Patricia effect, noun. The catastrophic personal and professional consequences of documented discrimination. The phenomenon of racist actions leading to immediate, irreversible destruction of one's career and reputation. Universities taught it in business schools. Harvard Business Review published The Patricia Effect, a case study in self-destruction. The opening line, Patricia Brennan had everything: seniority, union protection, management support. She lost it all in 14 minutes. Fortune 500 companies added Patricia prevention training to onboarding. The first slide always showed her mugshot next to her Employee of the Month photo. The contrast was devastating. Patricia's release. 7 years later, Patricia Brennan, age 58, walked out of federal prison with $200 in gate money and a bus ticket. No one waited for her. Her daughter had legally changed her name, moved to London, and worked for an airline that promoted diversity. Her ex-husband had remarried to a black woman, ironically. Patricia found work eventually. Overnight janitor at a truck stop, $9.50 an hour. Her supervisor was a young black man named Jerome. "You look familiar," he said on her first day. "I just have one of those faces," she lied. He Googled her that night. The next day, "I know who you are, the ticket burner. You made my grandmother cry." Patricia said nothing, just kept mopping. "But Mr. Williams said something in an interview," Jerome continued. "He said hatred is learned behavior, which means it can be unlearned. So I'm giving you a chance, one chance. Any problems, you're gone." Patricia nodded, tears in her eyes. It was more grace than she'd ever shown anyone. Tom Carter's redemption attempt. Tom Carter, after 3 years of janitorial work, applied to volunteer at a nonprofit teaching English to immigrants. The director, an elderly Korean woman, recognized him immediately. "You're the supervisor from the video. You backed up that woman who burned the ticket." "I've changed," Tom pleaded. "I've learned. Please." She studied him for a long moment. "My son was detained at an airport for 4 hours because someone thought his visa looked suspicious. He missed his father's funeral." Tom's shoulders sagged. "But," she continued, "I believe in redemption. You'll work with our hardest cases, the ones who've faced discrimination. You'll hear their stories, every day, for no pay. Can you handle that?" Tom nodded. He worked there for 5 years, hearing story after story of people like him who'd made assumptions, caused pain. Eventually, he wrote a book, Complicit: How I Enabled Discrimination and Why I Stopped. All proceeds went to discrimination victims. Marcus's growing empire. Marcus Williams didn't stop with Skyline. Within 2 years, Aerotech Industries acquired major stakes in 3 more airlines, 2 hotel chains, and a cruise line. Each acquisition came with immediate implementation of the Williams Protocol. His TED Talk, The Power of Dignified Response, became the most watched in TED history. The key moment came when he held up Patricia's lighter, the one she'd used to burn his ticket. "This lighter destroyed a woman's life, not because I sought revenge, but because she lit a fire she couldn't control. When you burn bridges, sometimes you're standing on them." He auctioned the lighter for charity. It sold for $2.3 million to the Smithsonian. It now sits in the National Museum of African American History, part of an exhibit on corporate justice. The industry revolution. 5 years post-incident, aviation was transformed. Zero tolerance for discrimination, industry-wide AI monitoring of all customer interactions. Diversity in airline management increased 400%. Customer satisfaction among minorities up 500%. Not a single ticket burned in 5 years. The FAA created the Marcus Williams Award for airlines with perfect equality records. Patricia's former employer, Skyline, won it 3 years straight. Emma Brennan's journey. Patricia's daughter became an unlikely advocate. She legally changed her name to Emma Foster, her father's name, and founded Children of Shame, a support group for kids whose parents committed public racist acts. We didn't choose our parents' hatred, she said in her keynote speech. But we choose our own path. She never spoke to Patricia again, but she sent one letter. You taught me what not to be. For that, ironically, I'm grateful. The final statistics. Marcus tracked everything. 10 years after the burning, 847. Discrimination victims received million-dollar settlements. 15,000 airline employees terminated for bias violations. 300,000 employees completed. Williams protocol training. Discrimination complaints in aviation down 97%. Patricia Brennan, still mopping floors at minimum wage. Marcus Williams, worth $4.7 billion, launched the largest corporate diversity initiative in history. The museum piece. The burned ticket remains in Skyline's headquarters, now worth more as ash than it ever was as paper. School groups visit weekly. The tour guide, a young black woman, always says the same thing. This ticket cost $8,400. Burning it cost Patricia Brennan everything: her career, freedom, family, reputation, future. It cost Skyline Airways nearly $1 billion, but it gave us something priceless: proof that discrimination has consequences. Call to action. Every day, someone faces their Patricia Brennan moment, that split second when bias overrides judgment, when prejudice lights a match that will burn down everything they've built. Have you witnessed discrimination? Did you speak up? Did you record it? Or did you stay silent, becoming Tom Carter, the enabler who loses everything alongside the perpetrator? Share this story, not for vengeance, but for vigilance. Comment your experiences below. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories of dignified justice. Remember, Patricia Brennan had a lighter and 23 years of power. Marcus Williams had something stronger: dignity, patience, and the truth. When someone tries to burn your ticket, let them. They're only lighting their own pyre. In a world of Patricia Brennans, be a Marcus Williams. And when you can't be Marcus, at least don't be Tom Carter. Your silence is complicated. Your recording is resistant. Your sharing is a revolution. Subscribe, share, stand up.
The story you heard today wasn't cleaned up. It was told exactly as it happened. At Black Voices Uncut, we believe that's the only way truth can live. If you felt something, hit like, comment, and your reaction, and subscribe. Every week, we bring you voices that refuse to be silenced.
After 10 years of perfect reviews, Maya watched her keycard flash red at the elevator. The security guard's smirk said everything. "Miss Johnson, you'll need to come with me." The metallic beep echoed through Meridian Financial's marble lobby. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Maya's heels clicked against the cold floor as she followed the guard to HR. "Ensign, there's been a decision regarding your employment status," Janet from Human Resources said, not meeting Maya's eyes. The vanilla air freshener couldn't mask the tension in the small conference room. Maya Johnson, 38, had built her career methodically. Senior Operations Manager, MIT graduate, data analytics expert, 10 years of loyalty to Meridian Financial. Not a single negative review in her file. "Effective immediately, your position has been eliminated," Janet continued, sliding a thick packet across the table. "This is your severance package. Quite generous, actually." Maya's hands trembled as she opened the folder. The numbers were substantial, too substantial. Her mind, trained in patterns and anomalies, immediately flagged the discrepancy. "I don't understand," Maya said quietly. "My department exceeded targets by 23% last quarter. The cost-saving initiative I proposed could save the company millions." Janet's fingers drummed against the table. "The new leadership team has different priorities. Mr. Hawkins feels the company needs to move in a new direction. Brett Hawkins, the new CEO, who'd arrived 6 months ago with his Harvard MBA and promises of efficiency. Maya had watched her innovative proposals disappear into his office, only to emerge labeled as not aligned with company vision. "You have 30 minutes to clear your desk," Janet said, standing. "Security will escort you out." The walk to her office felt endless. Colleagues stared from their cubicles. Whispers followed her down the hallway. Maya had seen this before, the corporate walk of shame. She'd just never imagined it would happen to her. Her office overlooked the city's financial district. 10 years of memories packed into cardboard boxes. Awards, commendations, photos from company retreats. The plant her team gave her for her promotion sat wilting on the windowsill. "This is one of those real-life stories that shows how black stories of workplace discrimination still happen today," she whispered to herself, surprising herself with the words. Security arrived with a dolly. Maya's fingers instinctively grabbed her personal laptop, the one containing her detailed project files and correspondence. Old habits from her data analytics days, she'd always been meticulous about keeping records. The elevator ride down felt eternal. Other employees averted their eyes. The security guard hummed off-key. Maya clutched her box tighter, knuckles white against the cardboard. Outside, the October wind cut through her blazer. Her BMW sat in the parking garage, a reminder of the success she'd built. Her phone buzzed with text messages from concerned colleagues. "Are you okay? What happened? Can't believe they did this to you. This isn't right." Maya sat in her car, engine running, staring at the corporate tower that had been her second home. The building looked different now, cold, imposing, foreign. Her phone rang. "Mom." "Maya, honey, how was your day?" The question broke something inside her. "I got fired, Mom." Silence stretched across the line. Then her mother's voice, steady and strong. "Come home, baby. We'll figure this out." The drive home blurred past. Maya's mind raced through the past 6 months. The gradual exclusion from key meetings. The sideways glances from Brett's inner circle. The subtle undermining of her authority. She'd excelled at reading data patterns her entire career. Human behavior followed patterns too. The signs had been there. She'd just chosen to ignore them. Her downtown apartment felt too quiet. Maya poured a glass of wine and opened her laptop. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Something nagged at her, a detail she couldn't quite place. The severance package sat on her kitchen counter. Non-disclosure agreement. Generous payout. Permanent silence required. 10 years of loyalty, and they throw me away like yesterday's coffee. Maya's analytical mind began connecting dots. The timing of her termination, the rushed severance offer, the immediate replacement surely waiting in the wings. She pulled up her email archive. Thousands of messages spanning a decade. Project reports, performance reviews, interdepartmental communications. Her habit of documenting everything, a trait that had served her well in data analytics. Her phone buzzed with a LinkedIn notification. Someone had viewed her profile. Then another, and another. Word was spreading. Maya closed her laptop and stared out at the city lights. Tomorrow would bring difficult decisions. Tonight, she grieved the career she'd built and lost. But somewhere in the back of her mind, her analytical instincts stirred. Patterns existed in everything. Data didn't lie. People did. Will Maya find a way to fight back against this corporate machine? The vanilla candles Maya had lit couldn't mask the bitterness in her mouth. Rain tapped against her home office windows as she stared at the severance package. Her laptop screen glowed in the dim light, casting shadows across the legal documents. 48 hours had passed since her termination. The non-disclosure agreement demanded her signature by Friday. In exchange, Meridian would pay her 18-month salary, nearly $200,000, 0 cents. More than generous for a standard termination. Too generous. Maya's phone buzzed. An email from her former colleague, Sarah Chen, marked urgent. Maya, I shouldn't be telling you this, but they're bringing in Marcus Webb from Breath's old company. He's starting Monday in your role. Same title, same responsibilities. Thought you should know. Maya's coffee went cold in her hands. Marcus Webb. She'd researched him after seeing his name in Brett's transition documents. 5 years less experience. No advanced degree. White. Male. Connected. Her analytical mind kicked into overdrive. The pattern was becoming clear. Another email arrived. This one from her networking contact at First National Bank. Maya heard about your situation. Unfortunately, we've decided to go with another candidate for the VP position. Best of luck in your search. The VP position she'd been courting for months. The one where she'd been the front runner until last week. Maya opened her laptop and began typing. Spreadsheets filled with data. Names, dates, decisions. Her methodical approach to everything would serve her now. Will Maya sign away her voice for financial security? The next morning brought more disturbing news. Her LinkedIn profile views had mysteriously dropped to 0. Professional contacts who usually responded within hours left her messages unanswered. Maya's doorbell rang. A courier delivered a certified letter from Meridian's legal department. Inside, a formal notice of potential defamation claims should she spread false information about the company or its leadership. Despite Maisie's anger at her husband's leader, she hadn't said anything publicly. Yet, her phone rang. David Kim, her former direct report, spoke in hushed tones. Maya, I can't talk long. They're monitoring our communications. But people are saying things. About your performance. About attitude problems. None of it's true, but it's spreading. Maya's grip tightened on the phone. What kind of things? That you were difficult to work with. That you questioned leadership decisions inappropriately. That your departure was performance. David's voice cracked. We all know it's bullshit, but HR is making the rounds. People are scared. The systematic destruction of her reputation was underway. Corporate character assassination, executed with precision. Maya ended the call and stared at her reflection in the black phone screen. 20 years of building credibility. Gone in a week. Her coffee had gone cold again. Will Maya's career be buried along with the truth? Thursday afternoon, Maya sat across from employment attorney Rebecca Torres in a sterile downtown office. The smell of old paper and leather filled the air. Legal documents rustled between them. I'll be honest with you, Maya, Rebecca said, adjusting her glasses. This is an uphill battle. Meridian's legal team is already filing preemptive motions. They're claiming your termination was part of a broader restructuring. Maya slid her folder across the desk. What about the replacement hire? Same position, same salary, starting immediately. Rebecca flipped through the documents. Helpful, but not conclusive. They'll argue the role evolved, that different skills were needed. She leaned back in her chair. The real challenge is proving intentional discrimination versus legitimate business decisions. How much will this cost? Conservatively, $50,000 to start. If it goes to trial, we're looking at 6 figures. And that's if we win. Maya's savings account flashed in her mind. The mortgage, the car payments, the mounting uncertainty. They're not just firing you, Maya, they're erasing you. Rebecca's words hit harder than intended. Maya stared at the ceiling, fluorescent lights humming overhead. What are my realistic chances? Without smoking gun evidence, maybe 30%. Corporate defendants have resources, time, and experience. They'll drag this out until you're broke or broken. Maya left the law office with a retainer agreement and dwindling hope. The elevator descended in silence, each floor marking another step toward an uncertain future. Will Maya's fight for justice bankrupt her future? Friday evening arrived with devastating swiftness. Maya's apartment felt suffocating. Empty wine glass on the kitchen counter. City lights twinkled beyond her windows, indifferent to her struggle. Her sister called from Phoenix. Maya, just take the money and move on. You're young, you'll find another job. It's not about the money, Lisa. Then what? Pride? You've got bills to pay, a future to think about. This crusade won't bring your job back. Maya ended the call and poured another glass of wine. The severance package sat on her counter, waiting for her signature. Financial security in exchange for silence. Her phone buzzed with a text from her mother. Praying for you, baby. Whatever you decide, we'll support you. Maya opened her laptop and began scrolling through her email archive. 10 years of correspondence, project files, performance reviews. Her habit of documenting everything, a trait that had seemed obsessive to some colleagues. Now it felt prescient. She opened a new spreadsheet and began entering data. Termination dates, employee demographics, promotion patterns. Her analytical mind searching for connections, patterns, anomalies. The wine helped focus her thoughts. Numbers didn't lie. People did. Her phone rang at 11 p.m. Unknown number. Maya Johnson? This is Jennifer Walsh from the Phoenix Tribune. I'm investigating workplace discrimination claims at several major corporations. I understand you recently left Meridian Financial? Maya's pulse quickened. I can't comment on that. I have sources suggesting a pattern of discriminatory practices, particularly affecting women of color in senior positions. Your situation fits a broader narrative we're tracking. I'm not able to discuss this. Good night. Maya hung up, hands trembling. The media attention was starting. Her story was becoming public whether she wanted it or not. She stared at the severance package. 18 months of salary. Silence. Safety. Or uncertainty. Truth. Risk. Her laptop screen reflected her face. Tired, conflicted, afraid. But behind the fear, something else stirred. The same analytical curiosity that had driven her success. Maya's fingers hovered over the keyboard. She opened her most comprehensive project file. The efficiency analysis she'd spent 6 months developing. The one Brett Hawkins had dismissed as not aligned with company vision. Hidden in the data were patterns she'd never fully explored. Hiring decisions, promotion rates, compensation analyses, performance review distributions. Her breath caught. The numbers told a story of systematic bias, carefully hidden but clearly documented. Maya smiled for the first time in weeks. They had underestimated her. She reached for her phone and dialed Rebecca Torres's after-hours number. Rebecca, it's Maya Johnson. I need to see you tomorrow. I think I found something. The wine glass sat empty on her counter. The severance package remained unsigned. Outside her window, the city hummed with late-night energy. Maya's laptop screen glowed with possibilities and evidence. Will Maya find the courage to expose the truth? The soft glow of 3 monitors illuminated Maya's home office at 3 a.m. Coffee brewed in the kitchen while her fingers moved across the keyboard with mechanical precision. She'd been at this for 6 hours straight, diving deeper into the data than she'd ever gone before. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory. Maya, baby, you've got to be twice as good to get half as far. That's just the way it is. Maya had internalized that lesson at age 8, watching her mother work double shifts as a nurse while earning her degree. Excellence wasn't optional. It was survival. Now, surrounded by spreadsheets and legal documents, Maya questioned everything. Had she been overreacting? Was this really about discrimination? Or was she grasping for explanations that didn't exist? The doubt crept in like poison. Maybe Brett was right. Maybe her ideas weren't as innovative as she'd thought. Maybe she'd been coasting on past successes. Her phone buzzed. A text from her college roommate, Keisha. Saw the news online. You okay? Remember sophomore year when Professor Williams said you'd never make it in finance? Look how that turned out. Maya smiled, despite herself. Professor Williams, the statistics instructor who'd questioned her capabilities, suggested she consider more suitable career paths. She'd proven him wrong then. She'd prove them wrong now. Her laptop chimed with an email notification. Another rejection from a company where she'd been a finalist, the third this week. Her reputation was being systematically destroyed while she sat in her apartment, paralyzed by analysis. Maya stood and walked to her kitchen window. The city stretched endlessly below. Millions of people pursuing their dreams, fighting their battles, facing their own moments of truth. She thought about her first day at Meridian Financial, fresh-faced, eager, convinced that excellence would be enough. The subtle slights she'd learned to ignore, the casual dismissals, the way her ideas were often attributed to male colleagues in meetings. She'd adapted, worked harder, stayed later, produced better results, became indispensable. Left until she wasn't. Maya returned to her computer and opened her email archive. 10 years of correspondence spread across her screen. Her methodical nature had served her well. She'd saved everything. Project proposals, performance reviews, team communications, executive briefings. Her MIT training in data analytics had taught her to see patterns where others saw chaos. Human behavior followed statistical models, just like financial markets. She created a new spreadsheet and began entering data points, employee names, hire dates, promotion timelines, termination reasons. Her fingers moved automatically, muscle memory from countless late nights analyzing market trends. The patterns emerged slowly at first, then with startling clarity. In the past 2 years, Meridian had terminated, or restructured, 23 employees. 17 were women or people of color. Of the 6 remaining, 4 had been close to retirement with full pension benefits. The numbers didn't lie, even when people did. Maya's hands shook as she created visualizations, charts showing promotion rates by demographic, graphs displaying compensation gaps, tables revealing performance review distributions. The evidence was overwhelming, systematic, deliberate. Her phone rang. Mom? Maya, honey, it's late. You should get some sleep. I can't sleep, Mom. I found something. What kind of something? Maya stared at her screen, numbers swimming before her tired eyes. Proof. Evidence that this isn't just about me. It's bigger than I thought. Bigger how? There's a pattern, a systematic approach to removing women and minorities from senior positions. The data is irrefutable. Her mother's voice grew quiet. What are you going to do? Maya looked at her reflection in the black computer screen. Tired, determined, afraid. I don't know yet. But I can't unknow this information. After hanging up, Maya poured another cup of coffee and returned to her analysis. Each data point represented a person, a career, a life disrupted. Jennifer Walsh, the terminated marketing director. 5 years of excellence, then suddenly not meeting expectations. Robert Chen, the Asian American finance manager, passed over for promotion 3 times before accepting a position elsewhere. The SDO sponsorship process went downhill after that. Carmen Rodriguez, the Latina HR specialist, laid off during restructuring while her white male counterpart received a promotion. Maya wasn't alone. She was part of a pattern. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She opened a new document and began typing. Executive Summary, Statistical Analysis of Employment Practices at Meridian Financial Corporation. The words flowed like water. Her analytical training took over, organizing thoughts into coherent arguments. Data points became evidence. Patterns became proof. She worked until dawn, crafting a comprehensive report that would either vindicate her suspicions or destroy her remaining credibility. As morning light filtered through her blinds, Maya saved the document and leaned back in her chair. 23 pages of analysis. Graphs, charts, statistical models. The kind of presentation that had made her reputation. Now it might break it. Her phone buzzed with an email from Marcus Webb, her replacement. The subject line read, "Transition questions." Maya deleted it without reading. Some bridges were already burned. She walked to her kitchen and stared at the severance package on her counter. 18 months of salary, security, silence. The coffee maker gurgled to life. Steam rose from the pot, carrying the promise of another day, another choice, another chance to decide who she wanted to be. Maya's reflection stared back from the kitchen window. Behind her, computer screens glowed with evidence, data, truth, power. She thought about her mother's words. Twice as good to get half as far. Maybe it was time to be 4 times as good. Maya walked back to her computer and opened her email client. Her fingers moved across the keyboard with purpose now, no longer trembling with doubt. The recipient list grew. Meridian's Board of Directors. The local business journal. The EEOC. Her professional network. Her cursor hovered over the send button. Once pressed, there would be no going back. No severance package, no quiet exit, no safety net. Maya smiled for the first time in weeks. They had underestimated her. All of them. She was not just a fired employee. She was a data scientist with a story to tell. Expose the truth. To expose the truth. The satisfying click of the send button echoed through Maya's home office. Morning sunlight streamed through her blinds, casting geometric shadows across her desk. Her printer hummed to life, churning out page after page of documented evidence. Maya had spent the past 72 hours constructing something unprecedented. A comprehensive statistical analysis of Meridian Financial's employment practices. What she'd discovered would change everything. Her phone buzzed immediately. Rebecca Torres, her attorney. Maya, what did you just do? I'm getting calls from reporters. I sent my analysis to the people who needed to see it. Without consulting me. Maya, this could backfire spectacularly. Maya stared at her computer screen, where confirmation emails populated her inbox. Board members, journalists, regulatory agencies, her entire professional network. Rebecca, I'm not just a fired employee. I'm a data scientist with a story to tell. The line went quiet. Then, what exactly did you find? Maya pulled up her master spreadsheet, the one that had kept her awake for 3 days straight. In the past 24 months, Meridian terminated 23 employees. 17 were women or people of color. That's 74% of terminations from groups representing only 31% of senior staff. That's significant? It gets better. Average severance for white male employees, $47,000, 0 cents. Average for women of color, $89,000, 0 cents. They're paying premium rates to buy silence. Rebecca's breathing became audible. Maya, this is explosive. But are you prepared for the consequences? Maya looked at her reflection in the computer screen. Dark circles under her eyes. Determination in her posture. I've been preparing my whole life. Within 2 hours, Maya's phone rang constantly. Her email inbox exploded with interview requests. The Phoenix Tribune wanted an exclusive. The Wall Street Journal requested comment. Local news stations left voicemails. Her LinkedIn profile, dormant for weeks, suddenly showed 847 views. Comments poured in from former colleagues, industry contacts, complete strangers. Brave woman, this needed to be exposed. Maya Johnson is a hero. More people should speak up. The data doesn't lie. This is systematic discrimination. But not all responses were supportive. Anonymous messages flooded her personal accounts. You're a troublemaker who can't accept failure. Playing the race card won't get your job back. You'll never work in finance again. Maya deleted them without reading the rest. She'd expected the backlash. Her phone rang. The caller ID showed Meridian Financial. Ms. Johnson, this is Patricia Hoffman from Legal. We need to discuss your recent communication. Maya's voice remained steady. I don't have anything to discuss with Meridian. Your data analysis contains proprietary information. We're prepared to pursue legal action for breach of confidentiality. Every piece of information I used is publicly available through SEC filings, press releases, and general employee communications. I access nothing confidential. A pause. Nevertheless, we consider this a hostile act. Your severance package is being withdrawn. Maya smiled. I never signed it anyway. She hung up and immediately called Rebecca. They're threatening legal action, and they withdrew the severance. Expected. Maya, you just declared war on a billion-dollar corporation. They're going to fight back. Hard. Let them. I have the truth. Truth doesn't always win in court. You know that. Maya's doorbell rang. Through her window, she saw a news van pulling up to her building. Then another. Her quiet apartment complex was about to become a media circus. Rebecca, I have to go. The press is here. Maya, be careful what you say. Every word will be scrutinized. Maya ended the call and walked to her bathroom mirror. She looked exhausted but determined. Her mother's voice echoed again. Stand up straight, baby. Look them in the eye. She changed into her best business suit, the navy one she'd worn to her first presentation at Meridian. Ironic. The hallway buzzed with activity. Reporters, cameramen, curious neighbors. Maya's hands remained steady as she approached the crowd. Miss Johnson, can you comment on your allegations against Meridian Financial? Miss Johnson, what prompted you to go public with this information? Ms. Johnson, what do you want to see happen next? Maya stood on her building's front steps, camera lights illuminating her face. She thought about every woman who'd been passed over, every person of color who'd been pushed out, every voice that had been silenced. I spent 10 years at Meridian Financial. I loved my job. I believed in the company's mission. But I cannot remain silent about systematic discrimination. What evidence do you have? The data speaks for itself. Over the past 2 years, 74% of senior-level terminations affected women and people of color. Despite these groups representing only 31% of senior staff, the statistical probability of this occurring randomly is less than 0.003%. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Maya continued. This isn't about one person's termination. It's about patterns of behavior that affect dozens of employees and their families. It's about creating workplace environments where excellence isn't enough if you don't fit a certain profile. What do you want from Meridian? Maya looked directly into the camera. Accountability, transparency, change. Are you concerned about retaliation? I'm more concerned about staying silent while injustice continues. The reporters shouted more questions, but Maya turned and walked back into her building. She'd said what needed to be said. Her phone buzzed with a text from her mother. Saw you on the news. Proud of you, baby. Then another from her sister. You're either brave or crazy, maybe both. Maya climbed the stairs to her apartment, energy coursing through her veins. For the first time in weeks, she felt powerful, not because of her position or title, but because of her truth. Her laptop showed 1,247 new emails. Interview requests, support messages, job offers, threats. She scrolled through them methodically, her analytical mind cataloging responses. Then she saw it. An email from David Kim, her former direct report. Maya, I can't stay quiet anymore. I have documentation of the meetings where they planned your termination. Brett specifically said they needed to clean house of problematic employees. I recorded some conversations. Can we talk? Maya's hands trembled as she reached for her phone. David answered on the first ring. Maya, I'm sorry I didn't speak up earlier. I was scared. What do you have, David? Audio recordings. Brett talking about your attitude problem and how you don't fit the culture. He specifically mentioned wanting to bring in people who understand our vision. It's all coded language, but the intent is clear. Maya's analytical mind raced. Audio evidence, corroborating testimony, pattern documentation. David, this is incredibly brave, but are you prepared for what comes next? I've been preparing since the day they walked you out. This isn't right, Maya. Everyone knows it. Within hours, David's recordings were in Rebecca's hands. The audio quality was clear, the conversations damaging. Brett's voice, unmistakably discussing Maya's termination in terms that revealed clear bias. She's too confrontational, always pushing back on decisions. We need team players, not activists. The efficiency report she submitted was basically a criticism of my leadership. That's not acceptable. I want people who align with company culture. Maya Johnson isn't that person. Maya listened to the recordings with a mixture of vindication and disgust. Her suspicions confirmed, her instincts validated. But beyond personal vindication, she felt something else. Power. The power that came from truth, from evidence, from refusing to be silenced. Her phone rang. Jennifer Walsh from the Phoenix Tribune. Maya, I've been investigating Meridian for months. Your data analysis confirms everything we suspected. Would you be willing to participate in a comprehensive investigation? What kind of investigation? We've identified 17 other employees with similar experiences. All people of color or women. All terminated under questionable circumstances. All offered substantial severance packages with NDA. Maya's breath caught. 17 others. Her story wasn't unique. It was part of a pattern. I'll participate, but I want to see the data. Already compiled. Your analysis filled in the gaps we couldn't access. Together, we have something unprecedented. Maya's email chimed with an encrypted file from Jennifer. Personnel records, internal communications, financial documents. The scope was staggering. Meridian Financial hadn't just discriminated against her. They'd systematically eliminated diverse voices from their leadership structure over a 2-year period. Maya opened a new document and began typing. Not another analysis, something more powerful. A comprehensive expose that would lay bare the full scope of Meridian's practices. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Statistics became stories. Data points became human faces. Numbers became justice. At 11 p.m., she finished the document. 37 pages of evidence, testimony, and analysis. The kind of presentation that would either change everything or destroy her completely. Maya looked at her phone. 43 missed calls, 200 unread emails. Her quiet life was over. She thought about her mother's words. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find your purpose. Maya hadn't just lost her job. She'd found her calling. She attached the document to an email and began typing recipient addresses. Every major news outlet, every regulatory agency, every board member at Meridian Financial. The subject line read, "The email that exposed everything." Maya's finger hovered over the send button. Once pressed, there would be no going back, no quiet settlement, no private resolution. She thought about the 17 other employees who'd been silenced, the future employees who might face the same discrimination, the system that would continue unchanged unless someone stood up. Maya pressed send. The email disappeared into cyberspace, carrying with it the power to change everything. Her phone began ringing immediately. The first call was from her mother. "Maya, baby, I'm proud of you. Whatever happens next, you did the right thing." The second call was from Rebecca. "Maya, my phone is exploding. Every major news outlet wants to interview you. The SEC is opening an investigation. The Department of Labor is requesting documents. You just started a war." Maya smiled, exhaustion and exhilaration mixing in her voice. "Good. It's about time. Will Maya's email be enough to bring down the system?" Camera flashes exploded across the Marriott downtown conference room as Maya stepped to the podium. The shuffle of reporters' feet mixed with the echo of voices bouncing off hotel walls. She'd never imagined herself at the center of a media storm, but here she was. 48 hours had passed since her email went viral. The hashtag Meridian Truth was trending nationally. Screenshots of her statistical analysis circulated across LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook faster than Meridian's PR team could contain them. Maya adjusted the microphone and looked out at the sea of cameras. "Thank you for coming. I want to address the situation at Meridian Financial and the broader implications for workplace equity." Her voice carried the calm authority she'd developed over years of boardroom presentations. But this audience was different. These people held the power to amplify her message beyond corporate walls. 48 hours ago, I shared data analysis revealing systematic discrimination at Meridian Financial. Since then, 17 additional employees have come forward with similar experiences. This isn't about one company or one person. It's about patterns that exist across corporate America. Questions erupted from the crowd. "Ms. Johnson, what's your response to Meridian's statement that you're a disgruntled former employee?" Maya's lips curved into a slight smile. The data speaks louder than corporate spin. When 74% of terminations disproportionately affect protected classes, that's not coincidence. It's systematic bias. "What do you want to see happen to Brett Hawkins?" "I want accountability, not just for Mr. Hawkins, but for every executive who enables these practices. Individual accountability leads to systemic change." Her phone buzzed against the podium. A text from David Kim. "Board meeting happening right now. Emergency session. Brett's not there." Maya's pulse quickened, but her expression remained composed. "I'll take 2 more questions. Are you concerned about your future career prospects?" Maya paused, thinking about the dozens of job offers that had flooded her inbox since yesterday. Tech companies, consulting firms, non-profits. Organizations wanting to hire the woman who'd stood up to corporate discrimination. "I'm more concerned about creating a future where others don't face these choices, where excellence is evaluated on merit, not demographics." The conference ended with sustained applause. Maya walked off the stage feeling simultaneously drained and energized. Her phone showed 47 missed calls. Rebecca Torres appeared at her elbow. "Maya, you need to see this." She handed over her tablet showing a breaking news alert. "Meridian Financial CEO Brett Hawkins placed on administrative leave pending investigation." "A medieval canon," said Leah Koob. "If only," Brett said. "If only we knew what—" Maya's knees nearly buckled. "When?" 20 minutes ago. The board called an emergency meeting this morning. Your email reached 3 board members directly. They couldn't ignore the evidence." Maya's phone rang. Jennifer Walsh, from the Phoenix Tribune. "Maya, are you seeing the news? Brett Hawkins is out. The board issued a statement promising a comprehensive review of employment practices. You did it." But Maya felt no triumph, only exhaustion mixed with cautious relief. "It's not over, Jennifer. One executive stepping down doesn't fix systemic problems. You're right. But it's a start. And my sources say federal investigators are already requesting documents. This is going to get much bigger. That evening, Maya sat in her apartment watching news coverage of the day's events. Every major network carried the story. Her face appeared on screen as anchors discussed workplace discrimination and corporate accountability. Her mother called during a commercial break. "Maya, baby, you're on the national news. Mrs. Henderson from next door called to tell me you're famous." "I don't feel famous, Mom. I feel like I opened a door I can't close." "Sometimes that's what courage looks like. Your daddy would be proud." Maya's father had died when she was 12, but she remembered his advice. Stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This is Sarah Chen from Meridian. A group of us want to meet. We have more evidence. Can you call me?" Maya's hands trembled as she dialed. Sarah answered immediately. "Maya, there are 8 of us, current employees who've been documenting everything. We were too scared to speak up alone, but after seeing what you did..." "What kind of evidence?" "Email chains about cultural fit decisions. Performance reviews that changed after diversity training sessions. Salary data showing systematic pay gaps. We've been collecting it for months." Maya closed her eyes. The scope was even larger than she'd imagined. "Sarah, coming forward could cost you your jobs. Staying silent is costing us our souls. We've watched good people get pushed out while incompetent people get promoted. It has to stop." Within hours, Maya found herself coordinating a complex whistleblower network. 8 current employees, 17 former employees, dozens of documented incidents spanning 3 years. Rebecca Torres worked overtime preparing federal complaints. The EEOC opened a formal investigation. The Department of Labor requested comprehensive employment records. Friday morning brought the announcement Maya had been waiting for. Meridian Financial agreed to a federal consent decree requiring external oversight of hiring and promotion practices. Brett Hawkins officially resigned, forfeiting his severance package. But the real victory came in smaller moments. Text messages from strangers sharing their own stories. LinkedIn connections from women who'd faced similar challenges. Email requests from college students asking for mentorship. Maya realized her story had become bigger than her personal vindication. It had become a catalyst for conversations happening in boardrooms across the country. Her phone rang one final time that day. The caller ID showed Meridian Financial. "Ms. Johnson, this is Patricia Hoffman, Interim CEO. I wanted to personally apologize for your experience and invite you to meet with our new leadership team. We're implementing comprehensive reforms and would value your input." Maya paused, looking out her apartment window at the city skyline. Somewhere in those buildings, other people faced the same choices she'd confronted. Stay silent or speak truth to power. "Ms. Hoffman, I appreciate the call, but my focus now is ensuring this doesn't happen to others. The best apology is changed behavior. We understand. If you change your mind, my door is open." Maya hung up and smiled. For the first time in months, she felt genuinely optimistic about the future. Maya didn't just get fired. She got free. What would you do in Maya's situation? 6 months later, Maya walked into her new office at Innovate Tech Solutions, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. The warm handshake from her new team still felt surreal. Fresh coffee filled her mug while collaborative voices hummed in the background. A stark contrast to the corporate silence she'd left behind. As Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, Maya had found her true calling. Her first initiative involved implementing data-driven accountability measures across all departments. No more subjective cultural fit evaluations. No more unconscious bias hiding behind corporate speak. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find your true purpose, she told the university students gathered for her keynote speech that evening. The audience, primarily young women of color pursuing business degrees, hung on every word. These are the kinds of life stories that inspire real change in Black stories, and beyond. Maya's journey had become a blueprint for others facing similar battles. Her phone buzzed with a LinkedIn notification. Another message from someone sharing their workplace discrimination story. They arrived daily now. Hundreds of real-life stories from people who'd found courage in her example. Maya had become an accidental advocate, but she'd embraced the role completely. Her consulting firm, Equity Analytics, helped companies identify and eliminate systematic bias using data-driven approaches. The same analytical skills that had exposed Meridian's practices now served organizations committed to genuine change. The Meridian case had settled for an undisclosed amount, enough to fund Maya's new venture and support other whistleblowers facing corporate retaliation. More importantly, the consent decree had forced industry-wide conversations about employment practices. Brett Hawkins had quietly joined a small consulting firm in Arizona. His corporate career effectively ended. 3 other Meridian executives had resigned during the federal investigation. The company now employed an external diversity officer and submitted quarterly reports to federal oversight. Maya's story had rippled beyond corporate boardrooms. Congress held hearings on workplace discrimination. Business schools incorporated her case study into ethics curricula. Young professionals cited her example when challenging unfair treatment. Her mother visited the new office that afternoon, pride evident in her smile. "Maya, baby, look what you built from all that pain. It's not just what I built, Mom. It's what we're all building together." Maya's desk held letters from employees across the country who'd successfully challenged discrimination using her documented approach. Each victory represented another crack in systems designed to silence dissent. These touching stories reminded Maya why her fight had been necessary, not just for her own vindication, but for every person who would face similar crossroads in the future. Her computer chimed with an email from a Fortune 500 CEO requesting a consultation. Another organization ready to examine their practices honestly. Maya smiled and began typing her response. The work continued. Your voice matters. Your data matters. Your truth can change everything. Welcome to Bead Stories, where real stories hit back. We don't just tell stories. We expose injustice. Because sometimes one quiet voice can shake a whole corporation, and one smart move can spark a system-wide change. This is where intelligence meets prejudice, and justice speaks loud. Have you ever faced workplace discrimination? What patterns have you noticed in your industry? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to speak up and help Beat Stories continue exposing these critical issues. If Maya's courage resonated with you, please share this Beat Stories video with someone who needs to hear her message. Subscribe to our channel for more stories of resilience and the power of standing up for what's right. Remember, silence protects the system. Your voice protects the future. What would you do in Maya's situation? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Beat Stories for more inspiring real-life stories that prove change is possible when intelligence meets injustice.